here before to a live stream? All right, so cool. You guys know, those of you that haven't, just to go over it again, God forbid there's an emergency, there's an exit straight out that way or mirrored image straight out that way to Broadway. So make sure that's covered. We're live streaming to our audiences online, so Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I don't think we have TikTok up today, and Twitter, so across there. And then I'll be getting questions from the live audience. I'll be answering those. I'm sure you guys have seen the live stream before, but this is the most important part, is we have a mic here for you. So if you've seen it before, our live audience guests, if you have a question, just make your way up there, introduce yourself, and I'll be mid-painting, but do not think you're interrupting me. We're just hanging out, it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon. So yeah, feel free to step up to the mic, don't be shy, and then I'll do my best to answer your questions. So any questions before we start? No? All right.
How many paintings?
Just one today. One, detailed painting. Yeah, one badass painting, so yes. Do I do athletes? I do, yeah. I do. I'm not, we probably have sold them. We may not have them in stock, but we've done a lot of different sports athletes, things like that, so yeah. Well, we'll talk more in a little bit, but you can ask those questions too, live. So let me go step over here real quick. All right, 3 minutes. Go. All right. And you're good on this camera? Okay, cool. Nessa, are you ready with the questions? I'm sure you are. Yes, I'm sure you are. Let's see. And then are we good on promo Pregame? Cool. I don't see it yet. Okay, cool. So make sure we answer those. Very chill today. I don't know if you've seen the last ones. The last one's the room was filled. It was a lot going on. Today I feel like I can focus, just got some friends hanging out. Excited about this one. This will be fun. All right, minute 15. There you go. Sweet. All right, now I think it's live on Instagram. Where are we at with time? 42, 40 seconds? Yep, there we go. All right. Just 30 seconds. All right, you guys ready? You guys ready to start? All right, we're gonna start. 12 seconds, 10. There we go. 5. All right, welcome everybody. We are live right now. We're simulcasting Paint Life Live number 86. on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. But before we get into this, just so I can do some shout outs before we start the one painting today, just let me know where you're watching from. So your city, state, or country, let me know. We got some our live audience joining us as well. You can show them some love. You guys can, there we go. It's very chill today. It's a very chill live audience. It's like a chill Saturday morning doing some paint with my friends. So if you are watching this Paint Life Live episode, please, if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and also, most importantly, the notifications so that when we do go live, you get a heads up. Or follow on Facebook or any other platform you're watching this on. And if you watch these live streams often, the best way to support is to share this live stream. So wherever you're watching this right now, send this on your story, on your page, wherever that is. It'd be a huge support. So again, let me know your city, state, or country so I can shout you out. And Chadi said she's on her way, so that's good to know. Let's see, let me do some shout outs to Casey Swift joining us on Instagram. Welcome to you. And Mocha Denim on Instagram as well. And so I want to update. It's been, before we get into the first, just one painting today, it's been a busy last couple weeks. This new music video came out for an artist. His name is Juice WRLD. He has since passed. Last year we did a bunch of visualizers, official visualizers, and we just came out with a new one for a video called Sometimes. I think it just came out last week. It's up to 2 million views, which is amazing, but if you get a chance, go check that out, that new music video. And then also, this is big, so the last live stream that we did, one of the paintings was it was inspired by what's happening in Ukraine. And we took that image, we made a print out of it, and we did a 24-hour release, and we raised and donated $5,000 to Convoy of Hope. So one, thank you. If you were watching this, if you collected it, if you're here in person, that's amazing. I had conversations with Convoy of Hope just to understand where the money goes, how much is spent, and I believe it's 91 cents of every dollar is put to work. And so they're on the ground in Poland and Ukraine, feeding people, getting their just basic needs and shelter. So thank you all for helping with that. I can't wait to do another one in the future, whether it's for this cause or any other future causes, but I'm just honored that you guys really contributed. So thank you for that. Past week, I had a show 2 nights ago in LA for the LA Lakers. They did an event called In the Paint, and they were featuring different artists. I got to perform at it, but it was so cool. Like, the whole starting lineup of the Lakers were there. LeBron's walking around, checking out art. And then I did a performance to kind of round off the night. I'm a Kings fan, but it was still, don't get me wrong, we're in Sacramento. I love my Kings, but we had a great time with the Lakers. So real quick, let me check this chat on Restream as well. So keep those comments coming in. Let me know where you're watching. Oh, so Steve Johnson, Oklahoma City. Welcome to you. Let's get that, there we go. All right, I got them up now. So Robin, watching from Cleveland, Ohio, welcome to you. Let's see. Steve, saw me in Oklahoma City with Kiss. Nice. Wendy, Springdale, Arkansas. Steven, watching on YouTube in Bristol, United Kingdom, welcome to you. Lisa in New York. So keep those coming. Let me know where you're watching this from, and then we'll keep this going. We're gonna start this next painting in less than a minute. Couple other updates. We've got a new podcast. Have you heard the new podcast? The Paint Method. So if you go search for The Paint Method on any platform you listen to this podcast on, we're 7 episodes in. We're just getting started. My goal is to do 100 episodes before this year is over. And we're definitely on track to do that. So look up The Paint Method podcast, hosted by me. We have different guests now. Paint is not just about being an artist, it's a mindset by using passion, action, intent, new, and teach, and how we apply those, and not only every day, but also how we create our journeys and create our futures. And so we talk a lot about that, and the guests from everyone from my girlfriend Chadi to, Chef Christopher Barnum Dan, who's the head chef at Localis, which we just ate there last night. Incredible. He is an artist for sure, but drops a lot of gems about his journey. It's amazing. So if you get a chance, please take a listen to the Paint Method podcast and follow that and subscribe. And then one last quick update before we do a final shout out and then we paint is some upcoming shows. So Monday, I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina for a Hornets halftime. I'll be in Omaha, Nebraska later that week. And then we have some big announcements for a run of shows in New York City at Radio City Music Hall in early April. And I can't say who it's with yet, but most likely this week on Wednesday, we'll announce the Radio City Music Hall shows that I'll be doing in a couple weeks. So I'm excited about that. And then also new tour dates in May. I'll say it here, we'll make the official announcement next week. I'll be going back out with Kiss. Welcome. I'll be going back out with Kiss on some tour dates as well. So look out for that. Are we ready to get into it? You guys good? All right, we're gonna do some quick shout outs. I see Compton, California, welcome. Reno, Nevada, welcome to you. Who else? Casey Swift, who is in Scottsdale, Arizona. Shout out to Scottsdale. We've got Sacramento watching. All right, love the love. Don't go anywhere. Again, best way to support this, just hit the share button. And then let me just check in with our YouTube and Facebook audience. I see Jim in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Jessica, North Carolina. I'll be in North Carolina on Monday. Keith in Montreal, Canada. Man, I love this. Thank you all for watching from around the world. But I hope you're ready. Let's get into the one painting for today's Paint Life live stream. Let's go. There we go. All right, welcome to Paint Life Live. We're gonna start this one painting. We've got our live audience here. They'll be asking some questions, but also you, if you have questions, wherever you're watching from, just use the chat down below, ask away. If you're online, they're gonna scream the question out to me so I can answer it and I'll do my best. So today's painting is inspired by, I'll just give a little bit away, National Piano Day is next Wednesday. My kids played piano a little bit growing up. I played music growing up, but there's something about playing music, how it just takes you to another space. So I'm gonna try to translate that. And also any piano players out there, just drop a piano emoji in the comments. Let's go. You guys ready? All right, just real quick, I'm gonna use a little spray paint. If it bugs you at all, just feel free to step out. It'll go away quick. All right, let's paint. I'm gonna approach this painting a little different today. Usually I'm starting with the figure, but I wanna start with the silhouette first, which means I'm gonna focus on the area around the figure. Just turning this can to the side. These are the techniques that I learned when I was doing graffiti growing up, and they're finally paying off. So. And I'm not getting in trouble for this, exactly. Well, we'll see, I don't know, we'll see. Mix that a little bit. So if there are any piano players out there, this one's dedicated to you, but if you're into music, you can drop a music emoji, music notes. Growing up, I don't even know how I ended up in the music room because I was an artist, but I ended up picking the trumpet out of all instruments, and it just, it stuck with me all throughout life. Just the musicality, understanding music, and eventually helped me as I started doing the performance painting and creating and editing the sounds. So, all right, we're gonna add a little bit of the figure here because sometimes I feel like I'm just like scribbling on canvas and like, it'll make sense at some point, so. But even when you're painting, so artists, the best thing you could do is not try to make it a masterpiece at first. So take your time, block in your figures, don't rush the process. Even though I paint fast, believe it or not, I still don't think you should rush the process. Take the time that you need to create. I'm gonna do this just very, very loose. I'm gonna establish this first part. All right, let's go a step up in color. Again, if you're watching this online, if you have questions, feel free to use the chat to ask the questions. Ooh, so what do I mix my paints with? So the paint just comes straight out of the can. I'm using Behr Ultra Premium paint. It comes with a primer already in it. So I only need to put on one coat of paint for it to fill the space. I don't need to go over it over and over again, but it's just, yeah, it's just Behr house paint. Actually, let's go up a step more on the color. So because this is, you know, I always say this, but paint is like an illusion. It's giving the illusion that there's something here on the canvas, and as an artist, it's my job to organize it in a way by thinking about light, shadow. You can kind of start to see this hand come into life. Instead of just filling it in with one color, using you know, just different shades of that color to define the subject. Just thinking about where the light's coming from. Just keeping it very loose. All right, let's go to this white, hit it with a highlight. All right, so someone online in the chat asked, what's the largest thing that I painted? I think at a live show, we did a show with Disney, and they were launching Epic Mickey at the E3 conference. It's like a huge gaming conference. If you're into games, it's like the mecca of just a place to go for gaming. But they were launching that, and I did a performance that was probably like a 10 foot by 10 foot painting in 6 minutes. I don't know how. I definitely practiced that quite a bit, but you know, that was probably the biggest one. Mural wise, I think I did one at Uriah Faber's gym here in Sacramento. It's like a 25 foot tall wall by hundreds of feet, I'm assuming. And I did collaborate with other artists. I cannot take all the credit, but we did portraits of the fighters all down that wall. So that was probably a week. That was probably the longest I've ever painted on one single project. All right, let's keep this going. Let's start adding some definition of these, where the keys will be. So I just want to give a little direction right here. We're using this dark gray to block it in, and we'll build it up with the color as we go. Thank you again to the people asking the questions in the chat. So I'm gonna just imagine these keys are gonna start lifting up off of the keyboard. All right, so anyone watching that does play the piano, try not to Google this, but how many keys are on a piano? Let me know in the chat. 88 keys? 88, all right. I think everyone's Googling now. And then here's another question, is how many black keys and how many white or ivory keys on a traditional piano? I'm asking for a friend. I'm counting at like 1, 2, yeah. Don't steer me, yeah, don't steer me. I'm like, there's 102. All right, let's do one more. We'll have a bunch more floating. Let's just put another little key up here that kind of found its way. These are my version of like a Bob Ross happy tree. Just a happy little key, you know, floating around. Let's do something else. Let's add just a touch of light. That's the color of the blue, just misting up. And what we'll do is we'll play with the light shining. Yeah, artists, as much as you can play with lights and start looking at, shine lights on objects around your studio. And once you start to learn about light sources and shadows that fall from that, it'll really help you level up your paintings because you start to create the illusion that there's light there, that there's an object on the surface. All right, so let's just add a little, let's just imagine a little stream of light from down here. With this, we'll add some more later, but I just want to show it lifting up off. All right, so I'm gonna imagine now, I'm imagining, so I played the trumpet, didn't play the piano. You don't want to hear me play the piano. But what it feels like when you are painting. Let's actually start with this darker green. Any musicians with us today? Did anyone play music? No? Okay, all right. I was gonna put you on the spot to step up. Are there any artists with us today? Any artists? One, all right. We are, yeah. But if you have any specific questions to art, feel free to jump up, or maybe you can have your dad ask the question if you're too shy. All right, so I'm gonna imagine like there's like these things sort of like growing from where the keys are. So I want to do just enough so I can still see this figure, but just give the impression that something's growing off of these. All right, we'll step up in the color again. Starting with a darker green. Just add a little highlight to the leaves. And any artists that are watching this on the live stream, feel free to ask questions live. I'm not saying I'm Bob Ross, but I'm just saying I would have loved to have asked Bob Ross questions while he was painting. That would have been pretty wild. Great question. So someone asked, I get to ask this probably 30 times a day, but do I practice the paintings before I paint them live? The simple answer is no, I don't practice unless it's a big production. So like the big shows that are coming up in New York City, I definitely need to practice for those. But for the most part, there's still a lot of studying that happens. So I do my preparation in different ways, just like you would, study music or, and the way that I think of these things are shapes as well. So I'm thinking about it as where shapes are placed, and also how what kind of value, so how the light hits those shapes and how I can bring them to life. But I don't necessarily practice. It's been a while. When I first started, I used to practice all the time. I mean, I wouldn't do a show unless I practiced for a week straight. But not that I discourage practice, but being 20 years into this now, you learn some tricks along the way. You're not as nervous to do some shows. So I'm just gonna add these indications of some flowers growing.
David, what's the weirdest smell that you enjoy?
Oh, what's the weird? Probably, I know it's strange, but probably spray paint. I do enjoy the smell, and these ones specifically, they don't smell like a normal spray paint. I also love the smell of blueberry muffins, not just any muffin. That's not weird? I mean, give me a blueberry muffin cologne and I will wear it. Now you know what to get me for Christmas. Like anything blueberry muffin related. All right. Any suggestions on other colors of flowers that you guys? Purple, all right, cool. We're gonna add purple after this. Again, yellow, all right, we'll do all that. I like that. So I'm just spending time on these little things because, there's the figure's like the easy part in a sense. It'll come together really fast, but these little things will add up as you see it. So we heard purple first. I'm taking the live audience suggestions. Let's put those here. Go back to this purple.
Hey, David.
Yes.
What's your favorite pregame meal?
What's my favorite pregame meal? Like a pregame to go drink? Oh, to paint. Okay, yeah. I was like, 'cause that's a different meal. Yeah. I think I had a protein shake this morning, but I don't like to eat too much before I paint. I do like the sense of being hungry, which I know it kind of sounds weird, but it does fuel me to want to do better. And then when I'm performing, it's hard to jump around too when I'm full of food. So the protein shake paid off. Yellow, was that the other color?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sunflower.
All right, there we go. Yeah, there we go. We're just gonna put that on there. We'll add the details of the inside in a bit. Let me just ditch these. Let's grab a gray for the seeds. There we go. Let's do actually one right here. Give just a little bit of highlight on those seeds. You know, as artists, the best thing you could do is really like study the world around you. My favorite artists, my favorite animators, even my favorite, actors, they're very aware and self-aware of objects. It's almost like you develop this database of information. And so as someone throws out like, sunflower, it may not be perfect, but really study the world around you. And the answers to the things that you create will be all around. So let's see. All right. I did have this idea earlier. We'll try to pull it off right now. I'm trying to think of things that a musician experiences or feels while they're creating. So we've got some flowers growing up right there. Let's see if this works. We're gonna start with just one strip up like that. We're gonna mix this with the red, create an orange. We're gonna keep stepping up. So another reason why I like doing these live streams is I rarely get to take my time. Even when I'm doing commissions in the studio, I'm still, trying to get them done because I got to go pick my kids up. But these, it's so nice to be able to relatively take my time. Probably less than 20 minutes. I'd just be going from color to color. We may be 20 minutes in already. I'm not sure how long we're in, but I definitely find a flow, and I just go with that. And but this is a different process. All right, let's step this up to purple. And let's do this. I'm imagining sort of like a surreal approach to this painting today. Some clouds floating in there. What's the most what? Oh man, what's the most embarrassing thing I've ever worn? So when I don't know why I know how to answer this so quick because I'm so aware of it. When I was in high school, I was in this dance group. We were in this hip hop dance group. It was my senior year, and actually this is the wrong color. It was my senior year, and I thought, it was like during the time of like NSYNC. So there was a lot of bedazzling going on, a lot of homemade bedazzling. I just had this, idea I was gonna bedazzle, my shirt. And then I had this like bandana bedazzled, and I think we burned the footage. But at one point, there was footage of me in this dance group dancing with this bedazzled outfit. So, yeah, I was like Jane Fonda, or I was trying to channel my NSYNC vibe. So, all right, we'll put that there. Let's add one more little highlight to the bottom of these clouds. Again, I just want to give a little illusion that they're there, that they're floating there, that there's the sunset colors. And we'll gonna brush that off on the carpet. The carpet and the wall become my palette through this whole process. That's a great question. So right now, I don't have my prescriptions in, but I do wear prescription glasses on a normal basis. If I have my prescriptions in, they'd be fogging up right now, or they'd be full of sweat. So, all right, so now there's one little piece of this that I want to add before we move on to the next object of this world over here. A lot of this is just trial and error. I'm just kind of like let's see what happens. So I may need to let this dry a little bit more. But I want to put just some buildings in here, like a little cityscape. We'll show you these details. Jeremy's got the camera up close. And then our live audience, you'll be able to walk up to this. So you'll be able to walk up to this when we're all done here. We'll take a look. A lot of times after these live streams, I will do some touch-ups, things that I maybe didn't think about before. So what we'll do is we'll actually let that dry, and then we'll add some of the lights later on. But I just want to get this little vibe right there. I was thinking about it earlier. Maybe there's some birds floating around. All right.
So David, that little piece right there reminds me of a paint night we did with you.
Oh, yes.
Are we going to start doing paint nights again, maybe?
That's a great question. Thank you, Abe, for the question. By the way, me and Abe, we go way, way back. So thanks for being here and bringing the family. So yeah, over the pandemic, we did these paint classes called Paint with Garibaldi. I do want to do one soon, and we'll probably do it as a fundraiser for Creator X, which is my nonprofit that I founded with my high school art teacher. So I think that would be fun. And actually, if you want to do a virtual paint class with me, just let me know in the comments and I'll read those and you'll help me decide if we should do this. So, all right, let's get a little splitter splatter. Great question. So someone asked, what is my favorite Juice WRLD painting? So those of you that may or may not know who Juice WRLD is, he's a musician that unfortunately passed away way too young. And we did several. So there's actually some videos that haven't come out yet. There was one that just came out. We filmed probably 8 videos in December. They haven't come out yet, my favorite ones, but I would say the most recent, the one called Sometimes on YouTube, that was one of my favorites from that whole collection, but you'll have to wait and see when the new videos drop. All right, we're gonna leave this here for now. We're gonna start building out the figure here. Move on to some whiter brushes. Actually, some cleaner whiter brushes. There we go. All right, so someone asked, do I sell my artwork anywhere? Yes, so if you visit garibaldiarts.com/shop, we always have a collection of prints, and also my studio, where we're at right now, Warren Walls, is open Saturdays and Sundays from 11 to 4 p.m. Yes, every Saturday and Sunday. We change our hours, but for now, that is our hours. All right. All right, so we got one yes on the paint class. Good to know. All right, I'm just gonna define the outside of this figure. There's always that little excess of water in the brushes that start to come off. shoulder up here. So I am going to do another hand. When I was in high school, one of the biggest challenges that I had was painting or just drawing hands. And I remember I showed my sketchbook to my high school art teacher, and he was honest with me. He said, "Your drawings are great. Your hands, terrible." I operate different. That I took that as a challenge rather than something that, felt like it was tearing me down. But he did follow with encouraging me and saying, "Why don't you just spend a day or time drawing the one thing that is your biggest challenge?" So I did. I would fill up pages full of hands. And then if you see a lot of my early paintings, the urban jazz paintings, it was because of that time in high school and the encouragement and the challenge from my high school teacher is why I love drawing and painting hands now, specifically really expressive hands. It's a huge challenge because there's so many different parts to the hand. There's bones and different planes of light. So as a challenge to artists out there, if you struggle with hands, I challenge you, sit there, draw your hands, draw pages of them, and you're bound to become more confident at that. I'm always up for those creative challenges. You gotta, whether someone's challenging you or you're putting yourself up to the challenge, it's gotta happen one way or another. All right, I think that's good right there. Let's start building out. Speaking of hand, let's build out that second hand. Keep those questions coming online as well. All right. Just mixing up. And I'm gonna start with the shadows, sort of the undertone of these fingers and hands, and then we'll build them up from there. I know it looks scary, but believe it or not, this will become a hand.
Yeah, David, Michael
Yes.
Bradley. I
Michael,
met you
welcome.
in Vegas, and we did Tarkanian.
Oh, that's
I'm
right,
one of the
yes.
basketball coaches
I do
there.
remember that.
So we appreciate you, everything you've done, and stuff for Sheldon also. So as a person of color, when you first started, was it very hard for you to get accepted into this space, and how did you overcome some of those obstacles to become as successful as you are?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I'm mixed with a lot of different things. I'm basically everything but Asian. And so going into the art world at the time, especially early on, I would go to these art expos. And I went to one specifically in New York City, and there's just this convention full of art. And a lot of the art there was very traditional. You didn't see what I was doing at the time, which was like an urban jazz, African-American style art, or Latin, which is what I'm mostly am. And so going to them, they loved it, but they also were very honest and said, we don't know if we have buyers for that at this level. And so it wasn't until I found the artwork of Justin Bua, who is now a great friend of mine, he really made a way for artists like myself. He was one of very, very few people in the art world. He's comes from Latin descent himself, and he grew up during the hip hop, beginning days of hip hop. And so I saw that and I just kind of ran with it. I was like, you know what? If there's one, there can be two, and so on. And so that was something that was very apparent early on in the art world. But a lot has changed since then, and I would say I always look at it like there's not an art world. It's your art world that you're creating as an artist. And the beauty of the world we live in today with social media is you can attract your tribe, you can attract your audience. So when you create what you're passionate about, whether it's a culture that you are part of or grew up in, if it's a hobby or something else that you're passionate about, like other people, those are the people who will become your first collectors, not a quote unquote vast world of the art world. It's the world that you create as you attract your collectors. So there's more. These are the things that I go into on the podcast. So I mentioned it earlier, but we launched the Paint Method podcast and getting into the mindset of whether you're an artist or not, but how to use those pillars to really define where you're at now and create where you go next. Great question, thank you. All right, let's keep this going. And keep stepping up in these colors. All right, so more yeses on paint night. Abe, look what you started. Yeah. It's my favorite piece of art. Oh man. I think it's gonna be this one, but there's so much. I always say it really is my next piece of art because I really am trying to challenge myself every single time. I kind of had a concept of what I wanted to do today, but I'm in front of you in a true challenge right now. I'm trying to explain the process and go through it, but my favorite ones are paintings that have challenged me, and then through the process, I'm able to overcome them. So I'm gonna say right now, this one is gonna be my favorite so far. But the last one, we're coming out with it for Easter. I just painted a new Jesus portrait, which is unlike anything that I've ever done before. So right now, that's my favorite until this is done. That's my answer. All right, I'm gonna stick to that. Love the questions. Thank you again, those of you watching online, wherever you are. Can you do me a favor if you're watching online? Can you just shout out your city, state, or country so we can do that while I'm up here painting? Counting fingers, making sure I don't put too many fingers on here. I'm like 1, 2, 3, I think that's right. Yeah, but shout out your city, state, or country. Right now, me and the live audience joining me are in Sacramento, California. Sacramento has been home for a very, very long time to me. I was born in LA, but I really, Sacramento is a place where I started my career, raised my family here, my kids, and it'll always be home. All right, Tony from Chicago. Dennis from, where was that? Henry? Penryn, California, yes, all right. Sorry, those of you that don't know this, Ray, who's doing all the production behind the scenes, he's behind a curtain, behind a wall, so I may not hear it as clear, but thank you, Ray. Oregon, watching? Austin, Texas, I miss Austin, I gotta go there soon. Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Welcome, everybody. Keep those coming, just as you're watching, as you pop on, maybe you come back, let me know where you're watching from. Let's add some fingernails. All right, North Carolina. I heard something forest. Okay. St. Louis, welcome. Let's go back to this white. So he's crossing his hands. Let's add just another. We're gonna have a light source coming from this way to really pop off this character. Let me just get this highlight in here. I'll come back with the black later to really define the shadows, but we'll let that sit right there. In the meantime, let's actually start working on this face. Sometimes when I start these live streams and I start the painting, I do think sometimes like, I wish I practiced beforehand. just a little bit, just a little. So, but I'm really happy with how it's coming out. Hopefully you're enjoying this, the process. A happy accident. Have you ever experienced a happy accident? Absolutely. I mean, the story of my life is like a big happy accident. This canvas right now is full of them, but I always look at it like that's just the first layer. The beauty of paint is it dries. You can always paint over it. No mistake is ever too great. And I apply that to life as well. There's a lot of times where life gets to become very frustrating, and you know, just let things settle, let them dry, start over again. I mean, some things you gotta let dry for a lot longer than others, but happy accidents are just part of life. All right, when I say step up in the color, so I'm using these skin tones, we're just going lighter. That's what I mean by step up in the color. So if you hear me reference that, thinking about the wrinkles on his face, the expression that I'm imagining. Let's keep going back to this specific color right here. This is where I gotta start going through my database of faces, of portraits, of where, you know, the shapes on our faces that define who we are and, you know, our characteristics. And sometimes you don't even need to fill it in. You just dab a little bit. Just a little dab of paint. I should have answered that. Could have answered that. Well, yeah, you gotta let me answer it next time, actually. Great question. So how often do I change my paintbrushes? So the paintbrushes I'm using right now, I've probably used these for about a week. I usually have to change them often because I'm lazy and I leave my brushes out and then they dry up. So behind this wall, we have plenty to choose from. Yeah. Yes, we got like a little Michael's art supply back there. And on the road too, you know, we go through quite a bit of supplies as well. So just wiping off that paint on the wall with my palette. So today we're doing this painting inspired by the piano players out there in the world, because this coming week is either National or International Piano Day. And so when I was looking, I do look for like references, like the face and the body structure. So I was looking up different jazz musicians, and I found one of Herbie Hancock, who is one of the most famous jazz musicians. So it's got a Herbie Hancock vibe to this.
Now on your brushes, do you prefer synthetic or natural bristles?
Are you an artist?
No.
That's a very, so she asked, and what was your name, by the way? Karen. So Karen asked, do I use synthetic or natural brushes? And I actually specifically use synthetic brushes. So in the past, I used to use these brushes from Italy. You know, they were like the fine natural brush. And then when they were very pricey. And then when I realized I was leaving them out and they were drying, I'm like, I gotta find a new option. So I started using synthetic brushes, which is what these are. And they can take the beating from the shows, they can take the beating from just painting on them on a daily basis. And also the type of paint that I use, it holds it very well. So I prefer synthetic, more so because of the style that I paint in. All right, we're gonna come back with black to define the face more, but let's add some. I love those kind of questions. Those are cool. Got some glasses on. I'm really trying to leave that black behind to do all the heavy lifting, the hard work for me, which is all those shadows. All right. All right, let's get some yellow. We'll see if this trick works. So I'm using the black canvas right now, but I want a light source here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by putting just the straight yellow, but I need to make sure that the yellow stays wet because I'm gonna come back with black to blend it in with the canvas. So I'll make sure that stays wet. I'll even make sure that there's water still in this brush as well. Is this black? Yeah, that's black. Close enough. Now, it may have a reflection right now because the paint is still wet, but when it dries, it's gonna start basically making this gradient of the yellow on the canvas. We'll make sure it stays nice and bright up there. But we'll do this probably several times because I just want like a subtle glow coming down on him. So again, I just started by lathering that yellow paint on the surface, which we'll go back and do that. And then going to my black, blending it with the canvas. Now you can do this if you have whatever color is on your canvas, you can use that color to blend it. But these are the tricks that you learn along the way when I'm doing paintings fast on stage, learning how can I use even the wetness of the paint to help me mix colors as I go. So on stage, I have about maybe 20 different paint colors on stage with me. Right now, there's probably 20 something around me. And then I choose those colors based on how can I mix these as I go. For example, right now we have several shades of that yellow, even though I'm just using the yellow paint mixed with the black. But this is kind of helping me create an atmosphere. Go through it one more time. Just blend that, and then we'll come on top too and just add more highlights. Just that nice mood coming in. There's so many different ways to paint, so many different techniques. I'm gonna try to give this some smoky texture. Just to really get more defined. And then what we'll do is to give the illusion that there's an object there is we'll take some thinner brushes, we'll look at that light source, we'll use that same yellow and then start to define where that light hits the figure. So we'll start with the yellow. We can step it up with a lighter yellow or a white. And these are just some visual tricks. As those of you that are maybe spending more time on your art, as a fine artist, same techniques work. You can just do more layers. And now we haven't even filled this in, but because we know there's a light source coming here, and we're just putting this little indication of a line, it's telling us that there's volume there, that there's an object, and we'll leave it there for now. Let's do one little. Great question. So someone asked, do I do custom paintings? Yes. Matter of fact, there's a collector right now working on a painting of her dog. So her dog passed away. If you're like us, we love our animals, but she came to me and asked me, she's commissioned me to paint her dog that has passed. But I do a lot of different customs. A lot of things that I don't even share on social media or with the world, but I'm blessed to be able to create for different collectors and clients. I want to put a little bit more in that light source, just on the brow. Maybe there's a little coming down this way. And then on the top of the hands, just those little tiny things, and we can add more later, but we'll leave that now. Let's start adding in some of the keys, and then we'll get closer to the end of this. I gotta splash some paint soon. You guys good so far? All right, good. All right, let's keep this going. So now these are sort of floating away on that side, those keys. So on this side, we'll just try to define them a little bit more. And we've got these two worlds now. We've got what we see in this world, and then we've got what they feel over there in that world. Just using that black canvas to break the keys for us. You can always add details later. But right now, we're just gonna give an impression of the keys. Dip into this black. Just do a slight definition of the black keys. Space. There is a pattern you gotta stick to. All right, so we'll leave that there. It's coming along. Let's do this. So right now at this point in the painting, we've got a basic base here. So where I go now is how do we elevate this? How do we add a voice to this? And that's what this next section is gonna be. I'm going to see how we can start lifting up some of this space over here. It is hard to describe sometimes what that is, but we just call it elevating the image. Indications that he's just in his own world, floating away. Get that extra paint off. Back to this gray. His jacket is just lifting off. Look at these clouds too. Pieces of these keys. We can also, we're gonna go back to this blue. We've got our light source coming up. Redefine it there, and then also we'll have pieces of that float up as well. Maybe there's some right here. Little things that will just start to connect all of this. Light source. All right, let's ditch those. Let's use the hands. So I'm gonna dip the paint in the water so that it flies a little bit more. Usually if you don't do that, it can get just stuck and gloopy. Is that a word? Yes. It gets gloopy. We're de-glooping it right now with the water. But let's do there's some things that brushes can't do. I'm gonna make up for that with using my hand. You know, and we'll do the same thing with the black as well. All right, new official word, de-glooping. So we're cutting into that. Let's see, our little city here. We'll add some lights later. Little pieces of information that help tell our story on the canvas. And this paint is just an illusion. It's just organized in a way that makes you believe that there's something there. Let your imagination take place. All right, let's do one more round of that. Let's get to this pink. I love this pink. I don't know if you can see that. It's just vibrant and bright. There we go. These little things. Some of it will seep in here, but I really want to keep this defined. Pieces of these flowers. And these are the things that I can't do on stage. So again, that's why I love these live streams. And I also appreciate you guys coming in on a Saturday too. Thanks for being here. So I know there's so many things to do in this world, and You're here watching me sweat and paint, so thank you. All right. Let's do one more thing. Let's do a little bit of definition on the face, and then we'll start wrapping this up. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Again, today we're just celebrating the upcoming National or International Piano Day. And you'll see this whole piece also reposted, I believe it's Wednesday. So, just these little details in the face. He's got like a smirk. Like that. The black paint is like my eraser. It's like a saving grace sometimes. So when I'm on stage, I'm throwing paint and it gets in a weird place. Black paint is my savior in those moments. All right, let's do a little bit of purple. Add just a little bit of volume in the atmosphere over here. Step up just a little bit, just give a little bit of depth so it's not just a flat purple sitting there. Also the purple complementing the yellow. Give a little up here as well. All right. I think we need one more color to splash to end this off, and that is that yellow. Just a little.
All right, Dave, I have one more question.
Oh, yes, please.
Have you ever been in a show or something like that and you kind of zoned out and just had to go in another direction and found yourself painting going in a whole nother direction where you just kind of blank out and go somewhere else?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I don't think I've ever done that actually. You know, before I step up to the canvas on a stage, I'm very clear about what I want to do. Even if I haven't practiced, even if, but I do know that there's a certain time I have and I've got to complete it. And there's something in me that just drives me when I have these deadlines or very short amount of time to perform. So there's times where I mess up in that time. I've got to come back and fix that mistake before I finish, but I don't think I've ever just zoned out and had to rethink a plan. The plan's always very clear when I start. So, but great question, great question. All right, one more little, there we go. All right, one more handprint to finish this off. There we go. All right, thank you, thank you. All right, so thank you everyone who's watching online right now. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I think Twitch as well. We're celebrating National Piano Day coming up. Take a closer look at this before we do our final chat. While you're looking at it, just hit the chat real quick or before you take off, let me know where you're watching from. So your city, state, country. I wanna shout you out before we end Paint Life Live number 86. So take a look. All right, and those of you watching this as well, we shared it earlier, but the best way to support these live streams is to share them. So before we get off, you can share this in your DM, share it on your page. Thank you guys so much for watching. All right. Oh good, there's a towel over here. Thank you. Very cool. All right. Let's do some giveaways. Can we do some giveaways? Nessa is gonna come over here with some posters that we have for our live audience. So we do these giveaways with our live audience because they're so brave. They step up to the mic and ask questions. So who actually, can you just raise your hand real quick if you asked a question? On mic. All right, we'll find enough for you. So yeah, if you have to ask a question, we have prints coming your way. Close enough, yes. But no, I just want to thank our live audience for being here as well. If you want to join a future live stream, and our next live stream is, I believe, April 23rd, is that right? So if you want to join us here in studio April 23rd, you can register at garibaldiarts.com/studio. So hit that link on that page. It'll take you to our Calendly and it'll register you. And then you'll have a chance to just ask a question and then go home with a gift. So let me do some shout outs before we wrap this up. Let's see, I'm sure my mom is on here somewhere. So Alexandra in Irvine, California, welcome. Someone else, Michelle Henry, says, I don't zone out. So it's a good thing. It's okay to be in the zone. So let's see, Wendy Edwards, thanks for the love. She said, absolutely beautiful. Amanda Bradford, always joining. Thank you, watching on Facebook. By the way, I love to see like people that come here that I see their names on Facebook or commenting. So like Abe Snowbar is here. Shout out to Abe. Can we get him on camera just real quick? Is that okay? Just wave. Abe, huge supporter and collector as well. So thank you for being here. Jessica Ramirez, thanks for the love. Appreciate it. Robin Lynn, thank you. All right, we've got Bob Allen watching from London, Ontario, Canada, which I've been to London before to perform in Canada. And let me go to Instagram real quick. We made some announcements early on that I'll be announcing soon. In the beginning of April, I'm doing a 3-show thing at Radio City Music Hall. I'll be sharing who I'll be there with this coming week. We've got some new tour dates coming up with KISS that we'll be announcing within a week or so as well. And also we have a really big special Easter print drop coming that we'll share that video soon as well too. So let me just go to Instagram, get some love on here. Actually, it's not pulling up, but thank you for being here. The next live stream will be April 23rd. You can watch on the platform that you're watching on, or you can register again to be here in person, garibaldiarts.com/studio. Get the updates by texting 916-866-8101. We'll put that on the screen as well. And Mama Jenny 4 said, unbelievable, amazing, thank you. Nick Leisure, sending love back to you as well. By the way, I can't wait for the Nick Leisure podcast that we're filming soon. Those of you that don't know who Nick is, he is an incredible feature film director that's from here in Sacramento, and his next film is coming out in July. So it's called Placerville. I saw the trailer, it's incredible, but if you go on Nick Leisure's Instagram, you'll see the trailer on there. I can't wait for his podcast, because we've hung out and we got some stories. Let's see. On Instagram, thank you, Daniel, or HWY Highway Stars, welcome. I'll see you in Omaha this week. All right, that's it, we'll wrap it up. Katina Atkins, Sacramento, California. And then Evan Struck, shout out to Evan who's watching on YouTube, a fellow young performance painter. I'm excited to just see what you have next and what you're developing. So thank you again. Go check out the Paint Method podcast on all podcast platforms, and you can watch it here on YouTube as well. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Jeremy, give him one last look at the live audience, but also one last look at the National Piano Day celebration. You know, the left side, that's what we see, and the right side, that's what the musician feels. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you. Peace.